Welcome to the Horror Corner with your host, Kenny Farino. It's been a while since a video was made, but I'm happily proud to announce that today we're reviewing... Where's that noise coming from? Dude. Who the? Wait. Star?
I don't know who that is. I'm a ghost. What?
What are you doing?
It's Halloween. I'm trying to scare you. Arrgh.
Get out of here.
Oh, come on.
Well, today I actually was planning to review Vampire Hunter D.
Can I join?
You want to join?
Sure.
Let's do it!
Let me get ready. Ready? Vampire Hunter D was a Japanese novel written by Hayayuki Kikuchi and illustrated by Yoshitake Amano since 1983. The 20-volume novel turned into a film in 1985, directed by Toyo Ashida and dubbed by actor Michael D. McConaughey as the lead character D. The sequel, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, would be released 15 years later in 2000.
And here's a brief synopsis. In a world overrun with demons and vampires, demon hunter Doris Lang is attacked by Count Magnus Lee, who wants to use her as his plaything. Desperate for help, she enlists the help of a mysterious man named D, a vampire hunter who must now protect her and stop the evil vampire count before it's too late. First, I think it would be appropriate to talk about the general atmosphere of this movie.
Okay. We have a semi-futuristic world that has cool robots and some great gothic scenery. It's interesting seeing the two come together like that. I mean, you wouldn't think of seeing vampires and stone castles in the future, would you?
The gothic feel to it is very reminiscent of the old Universal horror movies, the atmosphere of the deep shadows and dark mood giving some horror fans some very pretty sets to look at. Magnus Lee reminds me a lot of Dracula if he worked out for several hundred years, and it's actually a fact that the character is a combination of Count Magnus from an old story and Christopher Lee, the man who played Dracula after Lugosi.
This is not a traditional horror film, although the monster designs and the violence could be considered as such. We also have the romance effect that's in most of vampire films, but there's also a mixture of the genres with a little science fiction thrown in there. Not to mention the fact that we have that parasite in Vampire Hunter D's hand.
Yeah, and this also wasn't conventional in the fact that the vampire was actually the hero. This wasn't such a conventional or very much used idea, back then, but it was revolutionary for its time. In fact, the series creator, Hideyuki Kikuchi, actually stated that he wanted the vampire to be the hero. And this could possibly inspire future generations of vampire-based heroes like Angel or Blade.
What makes this atmosphere great is the animation. The art and animation have a wonderful dark, brooding quality to it, definitely setting the mood for this type and style of movie. With today's effects and the public's getting slightly harder and harder to scare, imagine watching this as a child. I was 3 when this came out. I would imagine had I watched it between the ages of 3 to 10, I would have been scared, even if it was only at one scene.
Really, it helps the overall mood and tone of the movie. It accentuates the gothic overtones, and it really gives the movie a kick in greatness.
The animation reminds me of 2 other films, a Jack and the Beanstalk anime called Jack Tomame Noki and Unico in the Island of Magic.
Now, before we move on to the bad aspects of the film, I actually wanted to comment on something that we both had differing opinions on, and that would be the voice acting. See, I thought it was alright, and the characters sounded like realistic people, but the only problem with me was that the acting was a bit stiff, and some of the dialogue sounded very unnatural as it was spoken.
I thought that the pitch and the tone seemed to fit the characters in the film, but the acting seemed kind of borderline overacting, underacting to me. It just didn't feel right. But now let's take a look at what's bad about the movie. The beginning of the movie is kind of strange. Doris is hunting demons at night, like you do, and it's weird because it's like she's walking around in Jurassic Park.
I find it interesting how, despite the fact she's a serious hunter, she runs around in a short skirt.
Yeah, I love how we have a future world with the mechanical horses and the weapons, but the clothing has gone backwards to almost nothing on our dear Leafy now. Oh, come on! So, a shot taking off half of his head doesn't kill him, but an electrical shock does?
Although, as we said before, there wasn't much wrong with it, but something that was pretty glaring was how Dee's reaction time was almost little to nothing. Like, when he almost gets cut in half, he doesn't really seem to say or do anything.
Yeah, you would think, like, being attacked to that extreme, you'd have some form of reaction. I mean, he's a vampire and all, but come on, even Blade flinched now and again.
Yeah, but as we said before, there wasn't too much wrong with this film. Even though it's easy to poke fun at the quality of the animation and the simplicity of the story, one has to remember that this movie was one of the first animes to ever be sent to America, acting as one of the inspirations to a lot of modern ideas in the entertainment industry.
Not even that, but it's become a cult classic. Even though its original reception wasn't that big, in the years since it's become well-loved. So it would be wrong to find fault in this movie for something so trivial as quality of animation or simplicity of story. I'm Star. Sayonara, Mina. Kenny? Kenny!